Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob Aaron. Alongside me are Jake McGrail, Corey Branson, and Eric Thompson of CiTR Sports, broadcasting from UBC's Point Grey campus, located on the unceded grounds of the Musqueam people. You're listening to Thunderbird Eye on CiTR 101.9. Always keep you up to date with the latest UBC Thunderbirds news, standings, and stories. Today is special. Many reasons why. Firstly, it is our second to final episode of the 2018-2019 school year. B, we are actually recording this episode and potentially uploading it to YouTube afterward, depending on how well it goes. So fingers crossed on that. And C, with us here today is none other than Claire Eccles of the UBC softball team. She was the first female player to ever play in the Collegiate West Coast League, and she pitched her way to success on the back of her fantastic knuckleball, which we'll get into in a bit. But thank you for coming in today. Give a round of applause, everyone. Thanks, Claire. So, I guess to get things started, you're a fourth year here at UBC, or at least on the Thunderbirds team.
Yeah.
And you primarily occupy center field and bat third in regards to softball. But besides softball, when you're on the baseball field, you mainly are a pitcher. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Well, yeah, I've always played baseball since I was young. Softball was something I started up when I went into high school. And then I continued, and I play on the national team as well for baseball, so I actually do hit with them, and I play in the outfield with them, but yeah, when I was playing on the Harbor Cats team, I was just strictly pitching.
And mentioning the Harbor Cats, you were the first female to play in the West Coast League when you broke back onto the scene in 2017, correct?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then since then, you were on the Harbor Cats team for a couple of years, and players that were in that league included Chris Davis of the Orioles, the not-so-good Chris Davis, as well as Jacoby Ellsbury and James Paxton, and you got a lot of attention for being the first female to break onto the scene. I mean, ESPN, Sportsnet, CBC covered you. Even the MLB had an entire Facebook and Twitter feed about you. What was it like getting all that media attention?
Pretty surreal. I had a bit before just playing on the national team, but nothing like this. And I remember when the idea was kind of being formulated with the GM of the team, he was saying how big this would be, and I remember meeting him with my mom, and we just kind of looked at each other and were like, oh yeah, right. But
yeah, right, like it wouldn't happen, or
yeah,
it wouldn't be big?
It wouldn't be big. We thought it would get like a few newspapers provincially and stuff, and people would think it would be cool, but we had no idea how big this would blow up, and it really didn't hit me at first until R.A. Dickey happened to tweet at me. I think right after my interview with CBC, like the next day after the media had found out, and yeah, it kind of blew me away.
And R.A. Dickey is known for his knuckleball. He used to play for the Jays, now he's moved on. I think he's with the Braves now.
I have no idea.
Regardless, you yourself are also very well known for your knuckleball pitch. Can you tell me how you started to develop that?
Yeah, I was fooling around. I was always just kind of throwing the ball with all my teammates when I was in elementary school, and everyone at some point tries to throw a knuckleball when they're young, and a lot of the times the guys that I played with, it wasn't working, and mine was working, and I kind of stuck with it and fooled around with it a bit, and then eventually it became something I could use in a game. So yeah, plus being a bit slower pitching versus like all the rest of the guys in the West Coast League, it kind of helped me out a little bit, I guess.
Your fastball, is it 72 or 76? I've heard some discrepancy there.
I think it came out as 76, and I was like, I've never once said that it's that fast.
So you say it's 72?
I'd say it's like max 72.
So realistically more like 70, topping at 72.
Yeah, I'd say around 70 more so. But yeah, it came out, and then someone somehow said I was throwing high 70s, and I was like, that's not right.
But regardless, the knuckleball has made you a very competitive player. You played 2 summers with the Harbor Cats. What were some of your favorite experiences there? I believe you even played with like some UBC players during 2017?
Yeah, I played with Justin Norton and Kyle McComb, Adam McKillican, to name a few. And that was really nice because I knew they were going to be on the team right from the start, like when I got there, so I'd have some familiar faces around. There are also a few other guys from the Lower Mainland that I had known, didn't know all that well, but they were super excited for me. So it was kind of nice having a bit of comfort going into it. And then also a lot of the guys did reach out to me before I even got there. And yeah, I just heard a lot of positive things about my new teammates. So it was really nice. And probably one of my favorite memories was, I can't remember who we were playing, but the team in 2017 was down like 8 runs. And
you guys or the opposition?
We were. And I came into pitch and had a pretty good inning. And then we came back in, and all of a sudden the bases were loaded, no outs, bottom of 9, and then we kept scoring and scoring and scoring, and then it was like within 1 run at some point, and all the guys were like, "We're gonna get this win for you, Claire," and they did. And the guy who said it was actually the one that got the winning hit. Off the other team. It like bounced right over the third baseman's head, and it was probably the coolest experience I'd ever been a part of. But yeah, like everyone rushed onto the field. His name was Noah Pruitt, I think. But yeah, everyone rushed on the field and dumped a thing of Gatorade on him, and then I thought it was over, and like we all huddled, everyone was super excited, and then the GM called me into the middle, and then next thing I know, I had a Gatorade shower and all the guys. And it was really cool, but it also was unfortunate. I think it was a fireworks night, so I just had to sit there in my wet clothes. But, yeah.
But if that's fantastic. So bottom of the 9th, 8-run comeback.
It was something like that. It was, yeah. Like,
walk-off victory.
And so cool.
You came in to pitch before that, and you
so
basically you got the win because the vulture win at that point, coming out of the pen.
Yeah, somehow I got the win, but it was really cool. And I don't know. They always had my back. It was a pretty special season, the first one for me, and I think a lot of the other players too.
And going way back to your roots, where does this love of baseball come from? I heard a video game might play part in this.
Yeah, it was a video game. I got it when I was 5 years old for my 5th birthday, and I don't know what it was.
Is it backyard baseball?
2002, 2003, I can't remember. But yeah, I got it from some family friends. And my parents never forced me into, like, you know how some people, the parents sign them up for, like, dance or soccer or whatever. They, like, kind of just let me pick my own path. And I had played soccer for the fall, winter season. But yeah, my birthday's in the fall, so I got that game. And then by the time spring rolled around, I was like, I want to play baseball. So they signed me up. And they're like, okay. And then...
And the rest was history.
Yeah, and, like, Ichiro was a player on that video game, and... like, being from Vancouver and Seattle being the closest team, and me being half Japanese, and my birthday's the 25th of October, and his is the 22nd.
It was too many, there were too many connections there.
And, like, I know it's 3 days off, and, like, he's way older than me, and he's full Japanese and everything, but, yeah, he was my hero for so long, even though he's not a pitcher, but...
And what do you think about his recent retirement? He actually just played in Japan.
Yeah, and that was cool. It's weird, though, because, like, he retired last year and then came back and everything. But, like, yeah, he's always been one of my favorite players. And I was actually at the game when he got traded to the Yankees.
Oh, from the Mariners.
Because it happened, like, right when the Yankees were in Seattle. So I was going to that game, and he just happened to be in the other uniform, which was kind of sad to see. But I definitely became a bigger Yankees fan and Marlins fan when he was on both those teams. So
Ichiro is the focal point of baseball, something that clearly never left you after childhood.
Yeah.
You went on to play for the Team Canada women's baseball team at just 16 years old, correct? That's when you first started.
Yeah.
That was the 2014 IBAF World Cup. Then you went on to play the 2015 Toronto Pan Am Games.
Mm-hmm.
And then later you went to the 2016 Women's Baseball World Cup in South Korea. Can you tell me some of those most memorable experiences of your national appearances?
Man, there's a lot. I think it's cool, and it's so different because baseball with women was something that I had not really ever been used to, and it was just something I found when I was coming into high school. I actually stopped playing baseball for a year between elementary school and high school just because the guys were getting too big, and I actually didn't realize there was even a women's side to baseball until I had a friend tell me about the provincial team, and I went out to that. And I didn't even realize there was a national team until the year that I made it, or the year before.
So who told you about it?
A girl named Helen Terry, who is also played in my like city baseball league, White Rock Baseball Association. She knew about it, so she's like, oh, you gotta come, you gotta play, because she knew I hadn't played baseball that year and I had just played softball. So yeah, she was like, you gotta try it out, and I loved it. And yeah, I went to Cuba a couple times for like a national development camp, and then at some point the national team head coach kind of approached me and was like, oh, you have a good chance to play for Team Canada one day. And I was just like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. So that was cool. But I think the fact that the first time I made it, it was in Japan, where it was held, that was pretty special.
It rings home.
Yeah, and I had actually had a rough exhibition game. The very first, I always got so nervous playing like with like at a more elite level. I always just seemed to have like a bad first game. So I had a bit of a rough exhibition game the first time.
Is this in 2014?
Yeah, after I made the national team. We were in Japan, and I just like walked and hit like every batter, it seemed like, and I got pulled, and like I was pretty emotional at that point, and I just like kind of just questioned myself, I think, about how good I was as a player. And then yeah, they gave me a chance against Australia towards playoffs, and I remember the head coach, like,
that game went very well.
Yeah, it went way like that. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting to do poorly, but I think I was like, I definitely need to kind of prove myself. And yeah, I had a good game, and that was pretty special for me, because that was the first time actually like in a World Cup setting. And then
you went on to throw a complete game later, right? Or was that the game where you threw the complete?
That was in 2016 in South Korea.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was just a slow climb uphill, but you eventually really reached that peak of elite baseball pitching.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
That's the top level. But here at UBC, you don't play baseball. You're on the softball team,
Yeah.
where you occupy mainly center field, occasionally left, sometimes, I believe.
This year it's just center, yeah.
But when you look at baseball, you're a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Why those two positions, and have you ever thought about changing it between the two sports? Because it's hard to compare apples to apples, although they look similar on the field.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a very different sport, and there's no way I could ever pitch in softball. I don't understand the windmill thing. I don't get how they throw it that fast. I don't get how they throw it that accurately. Like, mine goes straight up if I ever try. But no, I tried first base when I first played softball, and the ball was just too big for me. I wasn't used to it, so I seem to always
It's like twice or 2.5 times the size of a baseball.
Yeah, it's way bigger. And and me being a lefty, there's stereotypically not any place to put a lefty. Like, it's not so often you see any.
Except on the mound.
Except on the mound, except on first base and in the outfield. So I think, yeah, he was just like, oh, okay, you'll play the outfield, my coach said. So I did, and then I started to really enjoy it. But yeah, I have a strong arm from baseball, I'd say, so that helps. But I do love the outfield, and like I love it in baseball as well. But pitching is definitely my favorite spot. But I know that can't translate over into softball just because of
the different motions.
Yeah, exactly.
So defensively, you mentioned you have a good arm. You're good defensively. Offense, it's also off the charts. 2016 wasn't quite that good. You only had a couple at-bats. It was like a 111 average. I don't even know if you remember that.
Was that my first year?
First year.
I broke my rib in my first year.
And you had 18 plate appearances because of it.
Yeah, I definitely struggled at the beginning. I wasn't quite used to, I think, university level. And then, yeah, the second or third weekend, I think, I broke my rib. So I was out the rest of the season. And then my second year, I was kind of plagued with, like, ankle injuries. So I started off strong, I remember, but I definitely started to slowly go down as my injuries started to bug me a bit more. But yeah, last year.
And then junior year, you became a star.
I don't know about a star, but I had a good year.
And then this year's only gotten better.
Somewhat. It's nice this year. We have so much. It's cool to play with like so much depth. We have a lot of young talent, so it's kind of nice.
You're batting .385 too. Not too shabby. You?
Am I?
Yes. You, Mia, and one other player on the team who Jake can maybe pull up for us are all over 380, and your
Really?
and your OPS currently is 1013. And for those listening who don't know what OPS is, ops, it's basically your on base, so how many times you get onto a bag successfully from the batter's box, plus your slugging, so your basically your power. It's off the charts. I mean, Mike Trout, the current best player in the MLB, his career is 995. I know softball, baseball stats are a little different, but it shows that you really are a top-level hitter, too. Jake knows the other name.
Casa Courtney.
Casa Courtney,
Casa.
also above 380.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you. I didn't actually know that, so that's cool.
So what do you think's led to all that success?
It's a good question. I think, I don't know, I'm pretty laid back in a lot of things. I think that helps me sometimes. Sometimes it's a disadvantage. Maybe people think I don't care enough, or maybe I need to put a bit more work in, I guess. But, I don't know. I like to have fun, and I like to play relaxed. And I think I focused too much on a lot of outcomes before, and now I just kind of trust that I can play and trust my abilities, and it works out for the most part. I'm also super superstitious.
Let's hear it. What are your superstitions?
I can't tell you some of them.
They're that dirty for the radio?
Well, no, like some of my teammates know. Like I put, do you know the Dinosaurs candy?
Dino Sours. Is anyone familiar in the booth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey will give you the yes.
But, well, there's certain, like, pregame stuff I have to do, but, yeah, leading up to my at-bats, I have to have the same routine. Like, I have to swing my bat around a few times on my right hand and then my left, and then put a certain foot.
There are the Dino Sours gubbins.
Yeah, there you
So,
go.
wait, you jumped over those.
No,
What's your superstition there?
It makes me think that I'll have a good at-bat.
So you eat them before every at-bat?
I have them during an at-bat.
Wow.
And they have to be a certain color and a certain shape, depending on how I've been doing.
And do you sneak them into your back pocket?
No, I have a huge bag.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but yeah, my teammates know, and like it gets a bit ridiculous sometimes. It got pretty ridiculous actually last year at playoffs.
What were these new superstitions at playoffs?
No, just more routine stuff, like, and yeah, before the game I like had to sit at a bench by myself and just think about the same things beforehand, and like if anyone sat down I'd get up and go sit somewhere else because yeah, but I don't know, I have a lot, I just can't tell a lot of them. But
Well, I hope that we'll hear them eventually. Maybe not today.
okay.
Maybe we need a follow-up interview to hear more of them.
Once my career is over.
Fair enough. Beyond the superstitions, you actually had a trinket that was dedicated in your honor, a bobblehead. I don't know if you remember this, back in your Victoria Harbour Cat days. Do you own it? Do you have this bobblehead? It's pretty glorious. You're wearing a construction hat.
Yeah, I have about, I think I have 30 of them that were given to me by the Harbour Cats. So I just have 30 around sitting at
Wow.
my parents' house that I've been meaning to give to family and friends that have asked for it, but just haven't gotten around to it.
Do you think it's an accurate description of what you look like?
No,
Not at all.
I think I look like Shrek.
Wow, that's rough. Well, you need to tell the designers to change that one up.
No, I don't really care. I think it's just cool. It's a pretty big honor that I even have a bobblehead of myself.
And then going on with the topic of honor, this June, your number is going to be retired by the team.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like to get that kind of designation?
It's crazy. I didn't really realize that it would happen. I think I heard whispers and stuff.
This is for the Victoria Harbour
Yeah,
Cats,
for
by the way, not
Harbour
UBC softball.
Yeah. But a huge honor in the fact that they like set a date where they could make sure that I could be there and let people know. It's pretty special. It's really cool.
What do you believe is the role for you in regard to female representation in baseball? You've been kind of a groundbreaking presence, and currently your UBC softball teammate, Mia Valk, she's also part of this Canadian baseball women's team.
Yeah.
But what's your role?
It's tough right now being in school. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but I do really want to get into coaching women. I'd actually be really interested in like keynote speaking, kind of going across, sharing my story, and yeah, just like growing the game on the women's side, because I know it's getting bigger. It's definitely getting bigger. and I'd like to see it continue to. There's more leagues, like MLB is starting to help out a bit. I know there's leagues in Japan. I get a lot of messages from young girls who see my story or whatever, see a video about me and tell me just like how excited they am and that they hope that's something that they can do. And I really do think that there's someone out there that will be good enough to compete in the MLB. I don't necessarily think that it was me. I think there's a lot more talented girls out there, which is cool. Like, I got an opportunity, and I didn't do that great, which I think I'm disappointed in myself for, and I hope that other people don't think that I represent every woman in the sport, because yeah, there's a lot more talent and girls that can throw harder and could really have a good run. So yeah, I just like to keep women's baseball going.
Well, thank you so much for coming in here today. Claire Eccles, everyone of UBC softball, and really a representation of baseball for women across the globe. You're a fourth-year arts student. What does the future hold for you in regards to baseball, softball, and beyond?
I don't know. I'm gonna be coming back for my 5th year, not playing softball unfortunately, but I plan after I graduate, there's a league in Australia, a professional baseball league in Australia that I hope to play.
For women specifically?
For women, yeah. All women, mostly Australians, but they take a few international players per team. I have some friends in Sydney that I haven't seen in a while that I'd love to see, and the team from Sydney actually contacted me a few months ago. So that's been something I've really been considering doing, and I'd get to work and I'd get to live there and just play ball. So I'd really like to do that for a year.
Well, best of luck to you, and good luck with exam season.
You
I know
too.
it's in the middle of UBC, and thanks for coming on again. We're going to take a quick break for ads and PSAs and come right back to you on Thunderbird Eye.
That went long.